Epcot is one of the most loved parks across the whole of Walt Disney World. Whether it's the rides, the huge varieties of restaurants serving food from across the globe, or just the atmosphere of the 305-acre World's Fair Park, there's something for pretty much everyone. Epcot opened in 1982, and over the past 38 years, the park has been providing a magical experience for guests from all over the world. And just like the other 3 Disney World parks, Epcot also has some hidden facts and some lesser known history which you may not know about. And in today's video I'm going to be covering some of these facts about some of the rides, some of the pavilions and the park as a whole, so you know a little bit extra about Epcot before your next visit. But first, before we get on into the video, if you do enjoy watching, make sure to hit that like button, and if you are new to the channel and you're feeling extra cheeky, make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell so you don't miss a single thing, because we make plenty of theme park related videos here at the Katie Adventures which you don't want to miss. So to start with, let's talk about one of the rides at Epcot, and that is the Seas with Nemo and Friends. Not only is this attraction a dark ride, but it also features an aquarium. The Seas with Nemo and Friends opened in 1986, however at that time it was named the Living Seas. And what's special about this attraction is that the aquarium, which is part of the experience, was the largest saltwater tank in the whole world. This tank holds an incredible 5.7 million US gallons, which is the equivalent to 22 million litres, which is also equivalent to 88 million cups of tea. This record was beat back in 2005 with the opening of the Georgia Aquarium, which holds 4.3 million gallons more. However, the aquarium at Epcot still remains very impressive. The ride itself may not be the most extreme, but it is still a very enjoyable ride for the whole family, and with that ginormous aquarium, it makes the attraction even more special. Next up, we have a fact about some of the restaurants at Epcot. In fact, not just the restaurants, but the food itself. Although Epcot is home to many great rides and attractions, the area which makes the park stand out from the rest is the food. There are 11 different pavilions themed to 11 different countries at Epcot, including Canada, the UK, France, Morocco, Japan, the United States, Italy, Germany, China, Norway and Mexico. You can try different cuisines from around the world at each pavilion, so there's plenty of options to choose from. But what you may not know is that the source of the food actually comes from inside Epcot itself. Living with the Land is a slow-moving boat ride in the Future World area at Epcot. The ride takes you through multimedia agriculture displays. However, it also takes you through 4 working greenhouses which supply the food for some of the restaurants at Epcot. So once you've taken a ride on Living with the Land, head on over to Sunshine Seasons or even the Garden Grill, where they serve the freshest of ingredients from the greenhouses featured on the ride. Now Epcot may be home to some of the best restaurants out there, but it's also home to some of the best rides and attractions too. And probably the most loved across the whole of Epcot is Soarin' Around the World. Soarin' is an 180-degree flying theatre, which features an 80-foot IMAX digital projection dome. Not only are the visuals amazing, but the experience also features different scents, smooth motion, and an uplifting and memorable musical score. Soarin' opened in 2005, and although there's another flying theatre that has opened since over in Animal Kingdom, it's still a fan favourite and a ride that cannot be missed when visiting Epcot. But what you may not know is that there are some hidden Easter eggs in the attraction. On the pre-flight video, you'll notice that the flight number is 5505, which is the opening date of the ride, May 5th, 2005. I love the hidden Easter eggs across the Disney parks. You'll also find at Epcot that there is a bunch of hidden Mickeys, so make sure to check them out when you next visit. And whilst we're on the topic of rides, our next fact is about another favourite attraction. But this attraction isn't actually found at Epcot, it can actually be found at Hollywood Studios. And that ride is the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror. As I mentioned earlier, there are 11 different pavilions at Epcot, and each pavilion is themed with incredible sights and scenery to make you feel like you're actually in that country. Imagineers put a lot of effort into making the theming perfect, but this of course was difficult when a close to 200 feet tall spooky looking hotel can be seen in the Morocco Pavilion. The Hollywood Tower Hotel, which is home to the Twilight Zone Tower of Terror ride in Hollywood Studios, is that tall it can be seen all the way over in Epcot. So Imagineers needed to blend the back of the tower in with the Moroccan colours and themes, so it still feels like you're in Morocco itself. The Imagineers did such a good job of this that you wouldn't even believe it's the Tower of Terror at first glance. When you're next to Epcot, be sure to check it out. Now, we all know that the Disney parks use a bunch of different effects and techniques to give you a fully immersive experience, and one of the main effects that they do use is called forced perspective. Disney World is of course very big, but even with a huge amount of space, forced perspective still has to be used on certain structures so that you can't see these buildings and scenery in other areas of the park. If you don't know what forced perspective is, it's where the Imagineers make a smaller structure look a lot bigger than it actually is. For example, when riding the Tower of Terror, forced perspective is used to make the corridor look much longer than it actually is. And forced perspective is also used a lot at Epcot. To start with, the Eiffel Tower in the France Pavilion is of course not 1,000 feet tall. It's actually a 1/10th model. Another example is over at the Canada Pavilion. There you will find a building that is only a few stories tall, but with the addition of windows in the design, it's made to look much bigger. And it really goes to show just how much work the Imagineers put into everything they do to give you a fully immersive experience in each and every area of the park. Now, if you haven't already noticed, I am from the UK, so it would be rude not to include a fact about the UK Pavilion. As I mentioned earlier, I love hidden Easter eggs in the theme parks, especially the Disney parks. And there's a really magical one over at the UK Pavilion. Of course, Mary Poppins is based in the UK, so the UK Pavilion is where Disney like to represent the Mary Poppins films the most. And this is also the main area where you can actually meet the lady herself. But the lesser known fact comes from inside the toy soldier shop. Inside you'll find a large coat and umbrella rack addressed to Mr. Banks, 17 Cherry Lane, London, which is the address of George Banks in Mary Poppins. Now, you may or may not know about the secret underground tunnels that they use over at Magic Kingdom. These are used to transport the cast members and also the characters from one area to another without being seen. But what you might not know about is that they actually use underground tunnels over at Epcot too. That's right, Magic Kingdom isn't the only park to use this system. Although Epcot doesn't use it to the extent of the Magic Kingdom, underground tunnels are used in the Future World area of the park. Future World is on a second level, and the tunnels are used to transport supplies, trash, and a bunch of other stuff from within stores and restaurants without the guests seeing. This is mainly done for one reason, and that's to keep the magic alive in one of the most magical places on Earth. It may not be a huge magic killer, but I guess seeing some trash being carted around the park does take a little bit of that magic away. It's incredible just how much effort Disney put into making the whole park experiences as perfect as possible, and it's these little things that really add up to making a huge difference. So there we have it, some lesser known facts about Epcot at Walt Disney World. If you're interested in finding out some secret facts about Hollywood Studios and Animal Kingdom, I've already covered those in previous videos, so I'll leave links down in the description below to where you can go check those out. And of course I will be covering Magic Kingdom as well, so stay tuned for that video. But that's it for this video, I really hope you enjoyed it. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you in the next one.